And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at the shops of Sycamore Crossing. I'm here with Joeen Del Planky, Jane Whaley, and Rick Glickard. We have gotten together here. We're going to talk about the convention. I guess we'll go to the end. Let's go to Donald Trump in a minute. Let's talk about the kids. Let's back up from Ivanka, Eric, Donald Jr., and then Tiffany. And then I think Barron is the youngest one. But let's talk about the kids and what kind of job Ivanka did in the kids first. Anybody jump in, let's talk. Okay.
I thought she was spectacular.
Last night?
Yes. I was kind of interested to see how she was going to do because I've seen her on Apprentice and she seemed very stilted. But all of those children are so well tuned and they are exceedingly bright, but her emotion I thought was perfect, authentic, perfect, and I think she did a fabulous job.
Fabulous job?
Fabulous.
What say you about the kids? I don't want to say which one of the kids' speeches did you enjoy the most, or what do you think about the kids, Joey?
I think what I liked or took most out of what the kids presented was the fact that they brought out that they have been involved with their father's business from the time they were sort of knee-high to nothing, and that they were never handed a job, that they had to start sort of from the bottom up. I think Donald mentioned that he drove a Caterpillar or whatever, that they worked with the electricians, they, were sort of down in the trenches and learned the business instead of just come in and they are on the board of directors and with a silver spoon in their mouth. And that's how America is. That's how America used to be, where the kids, started at the bottom in their parents' business, pumping gas at the service station or
bagging groceries.
Bagging groceries. And I was
Son, carry that lady's groceries to her car.
Yes.
Remember that?
We've done that, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the unfortunate thing, is that we haven't seen or haven't been exposed enough to the upbringing of the kids. They're thrown out into the spotlight right now, and they look like they're just perfect people. What I think people have come to realize is they weren't perfect people all the time. They came up through the trenches, and I don't mean perfect in the sense of they didn't get in trouble, they didn't get jacked up in front of the refrigerator like he said the other day because he couldn't get his dad a drink, a soda or whatever he asked for. But I'd love to see one of those kids driving a Caterpillar or got a screw gun in their hand, working right next with a hard hat on. We've only been exposed to them now in the spotlight when they are absolutely beautiful young adults and representing Trump and the Trump industry, and their father.
Well, I heard on one of the media reports this morning, one of the news reports this morning, which is very true, because I know this firsthand, living in the New Jersey area at the time when Mayor Ed Koch, when New York was going broke, Mayor Ed Koch was doing anything to try to revitalize Lower Manhattan, do anything. And this guy had a vision of the Commodore Hotel, and everybody laughed at him about it at this time. But he's not out at the Hamptons. When this guy was a younger guy, and still to this day, he went to the job site. He went to the construction trailers to meet with the superintendents. So that really came out this week. And I think he became, I really like the label that came out this week, blue collar billionaire. I like that this week.
I do too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
They're calling the speech dark. Who wants to get in this? They're calling it dark, and they're calling it pessimistic, and it's just not that bad in America. And the mainstream media just did not see the upside of that speech. Did you see the upside of that speech last night?
Yes, I did. I thought it was a very powerful speech. I thought that he pointed out maybe he spent a little too much time on how bad things are, but that really is how bad things are. People are so busy with their own lives, and if they don't watch the news, they have no idea how bad things are in the rest of the world, and how America has we're no longer the world power that we used to be. And the reason that it's important for us to be the world power, if America wasn't there to step in, I remember what Trevor Loudon said when he came from New Zealand, America saved the rest of the world in World War II. And we have lost our ability, almost, because our military has been so reduced to help other countries when an oppressor overtakes them. And if we didn't step in to help other countries, the world would only have probably one power. And we've lost our ability to do that, and we've lost our allies, I don't think, feel that we are there behind them anymore. And if we don't have that world connection, the world will be overtaken, whether it's China or Russia. And if you don't watch the news and you don't know what's been happening in these other countries, you don't realize how much of a precipice we're sitting on.
Well, you know, 70%, they say 7 out of 10 people think we're headed in the wrong direction. I've always felt that obviously you have to have good, business policy, and you have to have good small business policy, and you need good interest rates and all the things that go together. But I've always said America's economy drives when people are excited and the optimism is there. That's the biggest thing that really drives us as America, is the challenges and being optimistic. And I took it away optimistic. What did you say?
Yes.
I thought it was fabulous.
I did too.
And you say people do need to watch the news, but it's which news they watch, because if they watch the liberal stations, they are not getting the picture at all. And if you ever have a chance to watch Water's World on Wednesday, I even taped it on my phone, sent it to my kids in New York, and he asked one young man who fought in the Civil War, and he said France. I could go on and on.
I know you could.
And those people are voting. They have no clue about ISIS. They have no clue. They don't care. And they're 25, 30 years old. And that is terrifying to me. And I didn't get up early enough to watch the pundits about the speech. I stayed up and watched every word. I was absolutely uplifted. The people he was talking to had to feel like we can do anything. We can do it. That's the way I felt.
When I got done last night, I thought, well, hey, let's go hire 4 people. Well, I don't know, but I just felt like, we're ready. You just get the feeling the day the guy's inaugurated, we're going to hire people, we're going to get back to work. And actually, they're calling it a populist. Let me ask you, Rick, because people are getting the business community, and some of the people that do foreign trade are getting a little nervous about some of this populist discussion, but I'm on board with America First. I'm on board with, tired of, excuse the expression, but us being, taken advantage of. I'll just say like that, around the world. He's going to hit home for me, Americanism, not globalism.
Yes.
Home run for me.
Amen.
And world welfare is over.
I thought his speech was targeted to a specific group. There's only 10% of the population, or 11%, whatever it is, whatever they say, that's going to make a difference in the election. And you got 40% that aren't going to change their mind one way or the other, Hillary or Donald. And I thought he was going right after the independents and the Bernie people. And it was interesting to see some of the focus groups. I did, however, take your advice and watch C-SPAN, but I did flip.
Did you like that better?
Absolutely. You weren't being told, number one, they didn't interrupt you.
Right. You got to watch
And
the whole speech.
secondly, you weren't being told what to think, regardless of who was telling you.
Well, I like what my co-host Monday through Thursday says, George. He says, we don't want people telling us what we just saw. So I watch C-SPAN. And the best part is when they take that 8-minute bathroom break and the band plays, and then you have old white delegates that try to dance and they pan the room. It's one of my favorite parts, Whatever. But C-SPAN, I watch it. But your takeaway from the speech is he was talking to a group. Our cities are a disaster. A disaster. Our inner cities are totally a disaster. And if you travel, what we have done is we've taken portions of the big cities and we have cleaned them up, and we've made nice shops in certain areas and perimeters to make it look like big cities are all revitalized, but realistically, that's the window dressing for the disaster in the big cities. Would
Agreed.
you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, you go to Baltimore and you got the harbor area.
Exactly.
Yeah, you go to New York and you've got some great areas. You go to Detroit, Chicago. You know, you walk the mile,
Right.
but you go back into the hood, if you will, not to be politically incorrect, as everybody blames Trump for.
The plantation, that's what they called it last night.
What?
The liberal plantation?
What used to be the hood is now the plantation.
I've heard someone say,
I'm
calling
sorry,
it the
that-
liberal plantation, a couple of days ago, because we're holding the people out of work. We're holding them down. I believe that. And I think Trump is going to I think he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And I think he can do what he says he's going to do.
I think he can too. And I think, I'm not a party guy. I've always been in the Republican Party. Family's always been in the Republican Party. But I will tell you this. Mike Pence, let's switch gears. Mike Pence, when he opens up, the one thing, many things, but the one thing I really enjoy, he starts his speech with Christian, conservative, Republican, in that order. That's what he says every time. In that order. I like everything about that. I like everything about that. What do you think about him picking Mike Pence?
Well, at first, I wasn't aware of anything. I didn't know Mike Pence, really, which is kind of disgusting to say, but I didn't. So I started learning about him immediately. And at first, I thought he might be a little dry and too much of a contrast, but I like him, and I liked his speech.
Rick, what did you think of Mike Pence?
Well, I love the pick simply because, you know, you look at some of the areas that they touched on when they said what was the criteria. He didn't want an elitist.
Right.
He didn't want someone from the CFR. Didn't want a member. And that's where I think Newt got axed, because he was a member of the CFR.
Really?
He didn't want that globalist effect, if you will. He's got a local guy. He's got a balance, which I thought was good. I thought it was a brilliant pick.
Well, here's what I think. I think like this. Trump has said, and here's what I've heard from a lot of people. Trump has said all the things he would do. They sound great to conservatives. They sound great to the right. But the last thing I always hear is, will he really do it? You always, would he really do it? Now, so we want Supreme Court, we want conservative, pro-life judges. This is what group of Americans want. There's certain things we want. We want a constitutionalist, okay? Certain things we want. And I think Pence shores those things up. So when Donald Trump says, I am going to remember the list of potential Supreme Court nominees, he says, I'm going to give you these potential. Well, it sounded good, but will he really do it? Well, let me tell you something. They're right in line with Mike Pence.
He'll do it.
So I think, do you agree that Mike Pence fills that or validates that he's being serious on those issues?
Well, I think that, yes. I think that also what Pence brings to the table is that he has been in Congress and he's been a governor.
Yes.
Right? And so, I think that Trump plans to do everything that he said, and will he do it? I think Mike Pence brings to the table the ability to get it done, because he does need Congress, and he does need... Trump knows how to do everything when he is getting it done, when he's commanding it, but he does have to work with the Congress. And I think that's what Pence brings to the table, is how to work within the Congress. I'll never forget, Zell Miller once said that when he was I think it was Roy Barnes, I forgot now who put Zell Miller in to replace Cloverdale when he passed away, but Zell Miller had been governor of the state of Georgia and was extremely successful. And he said the most frustrating thing in his life was being senator, because he's only one person and all he can do is vote one vote. Whereas as governor, he could make things happen. And Donald Trump is used to making things happen. And I think Pence will bring the counsel on how to make it happen within the system that he has to work with.
I think you're going to find that Pence is going to really be a guy who's much more in the spotlight in a working administration. I think Trump is going to act like a CEO and hover at the top and delegate and direct traffic.
Yes.
I think Pence is going to be the guy that's really going to be the nuts and bolts of the foreign policy and the domestic policy. He's going to be the running gears, and Trump is going to be the puppeteer, if you will.
I think Pence will know how to work. For those that are not happy with what I'm about to say, we're not talking policy, we're not talking votes, I promise. I don't want booed out there, but I do think the chair, Previs, did a good job this week. I do think Paul Ryan did a good job this week. He came out. I think Scott Walker, Governor Scott Walker, outstanding job. Even Marco Rubio's video, outstanding job. I think a lot of them did a very good job. I was glad to see the ones that did not come and the ones that did come. So it's like we needed to separate and know who we're dealing with. So we know now this is who we're dealing with. My opinion, Cruz made possibly a career-ending mistake. What say you?
Well, I think Krauthammer did an article last night that he said that was the longest political suicide note in history.
I like that. What say you?
Well, I agree. I mean, I think he tried to disrupt things. I think he tried to embarrass the party, if you will, and I think he ended up embarrassing himself big time.
I don't think his intent was to embarrass the party. I think he actually thought that all of the Cruz supporters, there were a lot of Cruz supporters,
and
there were a lot of delegates there that came kind of hoping they'd have a chance to vote the Cruz ticket. But I think he thought that's what they wanted to hear, and he was sadly mistaken and played it totally wrong. His whole speech was fine, and at the end he should have said, instead of vote up and down the ticket, your conscience or whatever, he should have said, and we are going to defeat Hillary Clinton, and we are going to back Donald J. Trump, and then sit down. And he would have then set his way for 2020 or 2024 or whatever. Instead, by ending the way he did, he looked arrogant, and he did his biggest mistake. He pledged to support whomever won. And what he showed us was exactly like it is with Hillary and Obama and whatever, that you say what you need to say when you're in front of the camera, and then you go back on your word and do what you want to do. And those are the people we're trying to get rid of. And he stood there in front of the world and went back on his word. I don't understand how he could possibly have done that.
How do you think it ended for him, Jane?
Well, I hope it ended his career. I will say that I initially,
you heard it here.
There you go.
Hope it ended his career.
I was a Cruz fan initially. And,
I understand.
And so through this whole process, I would look at Trump and I'd say, yeah, just like everyone else did. But as it progressed, flopped for me. And when Trump said last night, we have a rigged system.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We have a rigged system. Yes. And so what I was telling my husband, we talk a lot about this. I said, what you're going to find, who turns up at this convention and who doesn't, and who endorses Trump and who doesn't.
Right.
The people that don't are part of the rigged system. And I believe Trump is right. They want to keep all of their goodies coming in.
And he was not
And now we know
last
who
night.
they are. We know who they are. Can you imagine the governor of Ohio not even saying hello,
Right.
not even thanking people for coming.
You're supposed to say, welcome to my
Hello.
state.
Yes.
That you owe
So,
the delegation. You
they-
owe the delegation that. If he doesn't come out and say, you know what, you can see me with Donald Trump every day for the next 100 days, that's fine. But welcome to our state. Nothing makes me any prouder than knowing as a Republican governor, I have all these Republicans in Cleveland. It's about time this many Republicans come to Cleveland
Right.
and say thank you for joining us, and even go home if you didn't,
And
right?
I really thought in my heart of hearts he was going to make an
So
appearance.
did I.
There was,
I
a,
had
there was
thought-
a rumor
no
on
clue
the
he
floor
wouldn't
that
say
they were
hello.
working.
I had no clue. Those people, in my view, are putting themselves and the rigged government first, not the country.
Yes.
I mean, it was so sad to me.
Yes.
I actually mourned a
But
bit.
Donald called it out, and we have been waiting for years for somebody, myself, for somebody to call it out. Did
Yes.
Cruz end his career? On the
America
presidential
forgets
level?
easily.
I don't know that he ended his career. I think he's well liked in Texas. He's not well liked any place on the Senate floor. He's not well liked in Washington personally. I don't know that he ended his career, but he is very self-absorbed.
Well,
I saw that.
I don't know if he ended his career either, but look what happened when Marco Rubio did the one thing by turning against his pledge on immigration with the Gang of Eight.
Gang of
right?
Eight. His- he
no
that
one
haunted
ever
him.
forgot that, and
That's
that's
right.
why he never got anywhere, because they wouldn't let that go. And I think same thing's going to happen with Cruz. He went back on his word.
He did.
Marco,
And-
Gang of Eight, Chris Christie at the bottom of the steps with Obama, and Ted
Yes.
Cruz. Now, let me tell you what I thought, because my sister was on the front row in the Pennsylvania delegation. She's on the front row, great pictures. I guess the pictures last night of Melania, Donald, the works. But she's on the front row, and she's sending me a message. The room is electrified. Now, this is Ted Cruz. See, he had the room.
Yes.
Even the Trump supporters were excited to see the guy up there. He had the
I
room.
was too.
He had them all the way to the end. And all he had to do, in fact, I thought his speech was awesome, because I thought, you know what?
And he's
Need to
gonna-
remind them
yes.
it's the Constitution. Need to remind
Yes.
them we need to uphold the Constitution, defend the Constitution. Perfect. We need to remind these people that's what we're going to do. At the very end, if he would have just capped it off with saying, and the only way we have any chance of preserving, protecting the Constitution of the United States of America is have the Republicans in the House of Representatives, Republicans in the Senate, and Republican in the White House. Not even say his name. They would have blew the thing up, and he could have walked off. He didn't even have to say, I endorse Trump, if he'd have said that. But when he said, vote your conscience from the top of the ticket, I'm telling you, if anybody, if a vote, you know what I like? The Bush dynasty is over and the Trump dynasty took over. I love it.
Better
Bush is
dynasty.
over.
Didn't you love the way Newt came in
Yes.
and kind of saved the day?
Yes.
Somebody described that as
Yeah, there's only one way we can save the Constitution. You need to understand.
Well, Krauthammer said on that follow-up thing, he said, well, Newt did a great job. He said it's like clean up on aisle 9.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, Cruz even went the
Nick's
next
brilliant.
day, the next morning, to his delegation.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw
And I
that.
heard he went to Sheldon
I saw it.
Adelson's suite upstairs and got turned away.
Got turned away.
Got turned away.
They sent him packing.
There
Yeah.
was a woman that stood up in that next morning speech that had her Texas hat on,
The
her
Hispanic
red, white,
woman.
and blue, and she said, I have followed you from the beginning.
Right.
I have voted for you from the beginning. I have supported you from the beginning, but this is about our country.
Yes.
And not about you.
Exactly.
And I thought all the people there would be the little crew that were for him, and yay, that was brilliant.
That was what ended the press conference, as I recall, as well. He said sayonara after that because
What
she
can you
she
say?
hammered him.
She hammered him.
Yeah.
It was like his mother a mother talking to a 6-year-old.
Yep.
I mean, she laid it.
Okay, a
to
couple
him.
quick things. Let's make these quick. Put you on the spot. Forget not the Trump. Let's forget the Trump children and Donald. Let's take them out of this equation. Favorite speech, whether it was the 5-minute, 18-minute favorite speech for you during the convention that you really resonate this morning with you that you really enjoyed? Somebody maybe you didn't even expect to come on the stage and do that.
Oh, I really like Laura Ingram's speech.
Ingram, yeah, Laura Ingram.
And there was another one, I can't remember the name. I also liked the woman from the winery, since I had met her. We went to Trump Vineyard last week in
You met the
Charlottesville.
manager?
Yes.
So the lady that came out of
She's real, and I had no idea she was going to speak.
so she's the general manager of the winery, and
Yes.
you met her.
Yes. And what a beautiful place. And we bought wine.
All right. This is not a commercial for Trump Winery. Okay. You have a hat over here.
I should put it on.
Your favorite speech of the week. What did you think?
Well, I got to tell you, I was impressed with a lot of speeches. The one that I had the most hope for was Donald Trump, and I think that he was spectacular. He
I told you that wasn't in the
presidential.
list. Can you
Oh,
not
you
follow
did?
the
Yeah,
rules?
limited to
Can you
kids.
stay with the rules?
Okay, stay with
take
no,
the
take
Trump
all the
children
Trump.
Right.
and the Trumps out. Outside of that, your favorite speech for the week.
Well,
Try it again. Okay.
Gosh, I was so overwhelmed. I like Laura Ingram's too.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And I liked the vice president. I liked him. I thought he was better than I thought he was going to be.
I agree with
He was
that.
better than I thought he was going to
Okay,
be.
Pence. I like that. You?
I mean, it's unanimous with Laura. I mean, I think she was phenomenal. 3 adopted kids, single mom.
That
The one
woman
guy
is
that's
really-
very intriguing that I really didn't know too much about was Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel, I
That
thought,
was
really did a nice job, and he,
Is it the PayPal?
PayPal.
he's
Yeah.
a PayPal
Yes.
guy,
I watched it. I agree with you.
born
on
and
that.
raised on the left coast, San Mateo High
Right.
School, Stanford University, Stanford Law School, a billionaire, gay.
All the credentials of a left.
I mean, he had a lot of the boxes checked for, the politically correct stuff. But, I tried to do a little bit of research on him last night, and he's a really interesting guy, and I thought he had some very provocative things to say. I thought he
For
was
me?
good.
For me,
Yep.
it was so hard because I watched them all from 7 to 11 every night. I didn't miss a one.
I didn't see
But for me, Ben Carson.
Loved
Ben
it.
Carson.
Loved
Ben
it.
Carson he reminded me the other night of why he was for a short period of time the front runner. He reminded me the other night of all the, I'd say, making fun of him actually on Saturday Night Live. His eyes are barely open, and he was electric in a Ben Carson way. He came out. He was very electric. Okay, he was very electric. But I love basically he said voting for Hillary Clinton's making a deal with the devil. He basically did.
Wow.
I loved it. Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, please. I
Unleashed.
forgot that.
They should
I was
write that.
trying
They
to
should just say,
remember.
was
Yes.
Rudy unleashed? Was it
Rudy
not?
was-
Rudy Unleashed.
Yeah, he
and
was,
that's
man.
saying something.
I'm telling
I mean,
you.
he went for it.
The thing is that's so encouraging to me is that Donald Trump is going to pick the most brilliant people. That's his style. When he
There
fixed
you
that
go.
skating rink in
Surrounding
New York,
him.
it took them 8 years, and he did it in 3 months. He said, "Who knows about skating rinks? I don't." He goes to Canada, gets an expert.
Montreal Canadiens, right?
Come
He went
on.
up there. He said,
Yeah.
look, who
That's
knows?
how he's
Right.
going to get Gingrich. He's going to get those people in cabinet positions. He's going to ask everyone whom he admires and think knows what's going on. He doesn't know. Who can know? And we know Obama doesn't know for sure. He's going to get those people around him, and they're going to be brilliant, and he's going to listen to what they say.
Do you
And I
agree?
think
Do you
he'll
agree
be-
we had a sneak peek of the cabinet?
Yes. Now that's another
Yeah.
thing we did see, and I'm glad Rick brought that up because him and I have talked about that. It was very clear this last week to pick out the ones that are going to be in the administration, and they're solid people.
So,
We know Rudy. I want David Clark, Sheriff David Clark. I mean,
Well, I love
know,
that
I know
man.
he's in Milwaukee, but
Yeah.
come on. I mean,
love that
it's Sheriff Joe last night. I mean,
Well, after Ivanka's speech, I thought she was going to be Secretary of Labor. I mean,
I'm thinking the same thing. I mean,
But I'll tell you, if anybody's out there that still has doubt on who to vote for, a movie came out last night, and we went to see that movie. I recorded the speeches last night and watched them then after I got home, so I was up very late. But Hillary's America, it's playing
You
now
seen
in
that?
Canton. I saw it last night. It opened last night.
Yeah.
If
I haven't
you
seen
have got
We
to
will
see
see.
that, only the end of the movie is about Hillary, but Delish Souza, who Dr. Whaley, by the way, knows very well personally, and so we had a conversation after your segment. But this movie, it tells you the entire history of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and the con job that we've been fed, and that the whole history of civil rights and slavery and everything else was the exact opposite. That the Republicans voted to end slavery 100%, and the Democrats in that Congress 100% voted to keep it. All right, and the same
That's
thing
true.
with the Civil Rights Bill. There was a Civil Rights Bill before 1964 that was backed 100% of the Republicans voted for it, and 100% of the Democrats voted against the Civil Rights Bill. Okay, and yet the Republicans get, blamed for all of this.
Well, so you're saying like I know I'm doing this live on camera, but you're saying like I can like trick my wife into its date night and actually go to this movie?
Yes, and go on a Tuesday because it's $5. I mean,
Where's it
and
showing around
It's
here?
showing.
All right,
in
all right.
Canton.
Okay.
Get her phone number,
Here's
okay?
the thing.
Oh my gosh.
The thing is that as soon as I saw him interviewed, Susan, I Googled the movie. You see the reviews from the left, and they say, "Oh, it's just more of their rhetoric. They're changing history, yada." If I know this guy, he has videos, he has interviews.
Yes.
Yes.
We're not changing.
Okay, well, let's go
anything.
back to convention.
Okay.
Chill. Let's bring it back just a little bit. Now, convention, no big corporations, no big Wall Street people, no movie stars, none of that. Just the people. Well, I mean, did you like the convention? No matter what they say out there, we know who they. Did you like the convention?
I did. I thought it was nice the way they segmented it. Each night had a theme. I don't know whether they're going to do that in Philadelphia or not, but each night had a theme, ending with "Make America Great Again." I mean, I thought it was brilliantly done, and to the life of me, I can't understand. I keep thinking, okay, why the detractors? What are they basing it on? They're saying it was a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, it was this, that, and the other thing, and I don't see that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a little bit
Disaster,
biased, obviously,
dark,
but
train wreck, chaos on the
Yeah,
floor.
I don't see
Did you
it.
like the convention?
I look forward to getting home every afternoon and couldn't wait till it started. And that's not.
And the
normally
reason
the
I
case.
ask, reason I ask is we have probably watched conventions for years.
Sure.
Going all the way back. They're very well scripted, had a lot of suit and tie, ladies and guys, very well put together. But this year, did you like the convention?
I liked it very much, and I also couldn't wait to hear the speeches. And I liked how they kept it moving. The next person came right out.
Do you think they laid the groundwork for, and I've known this all along, but you think they laid the groundwork for Trump businesses, companies? There's more high executive women in high executive positions than men, and I think they did a great job this week laying that groundwork.
I hope the right people see that and learn that.
Right.
And maybe in the debates that can come out, because they say that the debates are going to have a higher viewing rating than the Super Bowl, which is
Yes.
thank
Oh,
goodness.
got to.
Now
I can't
something.
wait.
Yeah, I know we can't wait. We're going to have our pet of the week in here. The Humane Society of Blue Ridge, our pet of the week, just in a minute. Okay. Will you campaign for Trump? I mean, there's the I like the debate, but are you fired up enough to campaign and do what you have to do to make sure Hillary's not president?
Sure, absolutely.
Are you?
Not only that, I'm sending him some money.
Okay, I have an address to it. Okay, you send me a call.
Well,
Lord,
also-
now that I know there's money out there. No, I like that. I like that. I like
I will
that.
not only campaign, I have already sent money, and I will tell our audience also, It is very important for every single Republican, Independent, and the Democrats that want this country saved to get out and vote, because we have to overcome the votes in the city that are going to vote Democrat no matter what. And up here in North Georgia, you think, well, we're Republican and whatever. We need 80% voter turnout, 80%, not 30. All right, we need everyone to get out and vote. And yes.
You will work. Okay, folks, we're going to take a brief break. We're going to have the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, our pet of the week. And then after we have our pet of the week, we're going to have about another 15 minutes to wrap up if anybody wants to stay. Got a couple more questions. I know we're going to talk about the Democrats in Philadelphia. So once you stick around, I'm your host, BKP. We are live here in the beautiful downtown Blue Ridge, the shops of Sycamore Crossing. We'll be back after these messages. Folks, we're back, and I'm BKP, Shops of Sycamore Crossing. We're here in downtown Blue Ridge Live. I'm joined by Rick Glickard and Jane Whaley. But don't forget, at 10 o'clock, you want to stay with us at 10 o'clock live here at Sycamore Crossings. The Scott Farrell Show will be live. It's a great show. You guys are great guests.
Well, thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, but he's beating us.
Well,
His guests are like, he has like these people from California calling in and Las Vegas. I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff going on. You're a great guest.
It's a call in. Well, I'll stay home next time. I'll call in.
Yes, I'm a great host. I know that. You're a great guest. But I tell you, Scott Farrell Show, you don't want to miss that. Okay, now let's get this, because I want it on camera. I want to put you on the spot. I don't want this off camera. Okay. Democrats, this morning on the news, I seen they're down to 3 candidates for vice president. Did you see that? Now, you know, if she picks Cory Booker, you owe me a whole box of cigars.
I do.
I know you didn't really bet it, but I just think you owe a whole
I
box.
thought he bailed already. He didn't.
Huh?
He didn't.
Cory Booker,
Yeah.
you got to get. Yeah, I think we didn't make an official bet, but I just think I think if I hit that, right down to 3, right?
Yeah.
I called it 6 months ago.
I think it's going to be Kane.
You think Kane
Yeah.
for the Democrats?
I don't think Booker's got enough. She's looking for that foreign experience.
I said this, and I know we pay attention. We pay attention to policy and all these things, but I did say this: the Trump-Pence ticket is very white. It's very white male. Now I'm not on that side of the aisle, but I want to say, you talked earlier about the people that just don't pay attention. Waters World, very white ticket. I think, don't know how much trouble I get in this. I think Hillary adds some color to the ticket.
I don't have a clue, but what I've been listening to, that's not going to happen. She's considered.
Why does she need color to the ticket? She's already got the black vote. And I think that Trump did a brilliant job of bringing someone in that had the qualifications that he needed, regardless of race, creed, color, whatever. I would have looked at that as pandering.
All right, I want to step out. You know, I like to go out far enough. You know, when I was a kid and climbed a tree, I led the league in broken branches. Meaning I went out further than I should have. Branch broke, and I was on the ground. Okay,
I believe that.
So I wanted to see how far I could go out on a limb. That's no joke. When I was a kid, all right. So I led the league in broken branches as a kid. So I'm going to go all the way out there. Last night, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay. Last night, the Democrats want to be a party of first.
First.
Stay with me.
Yeah.
Stay with me. They want to be a party of first. Mm-hmm. First woman ever nominated president of the United States. Now, don't make faces. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
Now, Trump, they're saying Trump wants to take us back. Not make America great. That's what it means, take us back. So they want to be the party of the future, the party of first. That's who they want to be. The party of what they call the America we live in today. Stay with me. So, last night, the guy at PayPal, what did he come out and announce to the Republicans? He's gay, right? Mm-hmm. Watch. Not only man, I'm sweating here. I would never make it on network TV.
The
Not
branch is
Yeah. Not only
Yeah.
is Cory Booker able to come out and be a black candidate, he may be able to come out and announce he's the first gay vice presidential candidate of the United States. Did I go so far on the limb?
well, I mean, that's been out
There's
there.
a lot of speculation in that,
That's
man.
been out
and it is-
there. And if you go to New Jersey and you say
Exactly.
I mean, they'll tell
Go
you to
around
a T.
Newark.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's possible.
Yeah.
Possible. Just a
Anything's
thought.
possible.
Just a
It'll
thought.
all be calculated. I just don't know how they're going to calculate it. I really don't.
My sister is a delegate, so let me tell you this. I was hoping we'd have Joanne back, but I'll talk to her later. The reason I asked you if you would work, not just were you excited, will you work to get him elected? Here's what my sister said, and she's very involved. She said that they need help in Pennsylvania from us. That Pennsylvania's going to be so tight that they're asking for our help. The states, the media will tell you that Georgia's in play and it's not. Because you'll see by the money the Democrats spend. They won't spend the money. So what my sister's saying, the states like Georgia and Texas that are not in play for Hillary, Alabama, you need to come here. You need to help us. We need your help. That's what she said the
Do
other
they
day.
have extra bedrooms? We can.
They're begging for help up there because
That's
Road trip.
interesting. Road
Road
trip.
trip.
Hey.
do you think he stands a chance to flip states, and what states do you think he could turn red this time?
Well, I think I'm beginning to think like you. It's going to be a landslide. I just really do. I never thought I would say that. Florida.
Michigan,
What about
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I
Wisconsin.
think he can do anything. I really have this feeling of a freight train going down a downhill track with him. I mean, it is getting faster and faster, and I think it's brilliant. So I think he can turn any state. I think that's possible. I think that's a good idea to go to Pennsylvania.
Well, what she said is states that really are in play. And Pennsylvania's in play. It's going to be tight, but Pennsylvania's in play.
Yeah, I have a daughter that lives in
Okay,
Pennsylvania.
she said states like Pennsylvania, states like Ohio, states like Michigan, what they call the Rust Belt.
Rust Belt.
And sadly, the younger generation, I'll just say it like that, actually doesn't even know what we mean when we say Rust Belt. What's that supposed to mean? But we understand why it's called the Rust Belt. But they understand that it's in play, and they're asking for the help, and they say that's what they need for the states that are in play. I think he will possibly win New York. I know usually it's a given you win your home state, but this is tough because it is New York. But I think he could win New York. Hillary wants that. There's a fraction in my gut that says he could win New Jersey. I don't know, but just
be
a
tight.
little. It'd
Yeah.
be tight, but there's a fraction that says that.
Thank you.
Florida?
Don't get shocked with like New Hampshire. Now forget Massachusetts; it's gone. That's not going to happen. And forget maybe Connecticut and Rhode Island. That's not going to happen. But don't get caught off guard with New Hampshire. Don't get caught off guard with Pennsylvania. Don't get caught off guard with Michigan, Wisconsin. Maybe. I mean, Walker come out pretty
Walker,
hard.
yeah.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he did. He did. Pence has got a little bit of an issue with unions. He's got he's very, very anti-union, and that might hurt a little bit. But I think Trump has won over so many of the blue collar guys and the blue collar
the head
gals.
of the union, they'll support Hillary. The people that are actually got union cards in their pocket that are going to work are going to vote for Donald Trump. A good portion.
That's what
A
I'm
good
saying.
portion, they're gonna
yeah,
vote for
he
Donald
had
Trump.
those people won over. Now we got a little bit of an issue with Pence.
Right. I don't think so because, as we know, realistically, people don't vote vice president. They vote top of the ticket. What do you think? How do you think they're going to be able to electrify? I tell you what I'm excited about is the best thing you do after a convention is you go out, your vice president goes out, and then your surrogates. And do you realize Trump's going to send out Newt Gingrich, Chris Christie, Rudy Giuliani. I mean, Ben Carson. Look at the surrogates that are going to hit the road coast to coast for him as hard as they can. That will draw a crowd and will draw media. Now look at the flip side. What is Hillary going to send out?
I'm telling you.
Nothing.
I think they're going to be on the defensive the
I do too.
entire
I do too.
campaign. I mean, they deconstructed her career. I mean,
Did they do a good job this past week indicting her?
Listen to Christie's speech.
Yes.
Guilty,
Hello.
guilty, guilty. I mean, they hammered it home, and I think her disapproval rating is so high. They've got to do something about that. I think she's on her heels, and I think she's got to do everything she can to try to rebuild the house.
Yeah, I don't think she has enough time. I hope not. But I think one of the pivotal things that happened last night was when Trump said when she was not, and they did not indict her, we were in more trouble than I thought.
As crooked.
As
it was the
crooked,
most
this is
corrupt.
the most corrupt.
He went for everything. He went
And
most
it's all true.
Yes, exactly.
And the debates are going to do it. I mean, and I think he will annihilate her in a debate because she's going to say the same old thing in the same old way. And I think he's a brilliant debater. I hope he gets away from the eye rolling, but I think his...
No, I want the eye
his-
rolling. We'll
yeah.
go with
I
that
want
later.
him to be a little
We're going to have to
more-
get out, but I don't want to waste. We got 3 minutes. I don't want to waste this because Rick and I talked earlier in the week, and I kind of didn't know the direction the show would go. Norman Lear has called Donald Trump the Archie Bunker of our time. You did a lot of research. Nothing like doing research on All in the Family Archie Bunker.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, they're talking about he's the anti-political correctness guy,
Right.
and Norman Lear said he ran him down because of it. But I think that's what appeals to people. I wish I could take credit for this saying. Political correctness used to be a nuisance, and now it's a noose.
Whoa.
What comes to mind as your favorite anti-politically correct statement from Archie Bunker?
Well,
you got one?
let's see. You could bring up some of those episodes with Maude when she
Yes.
came in. I mean, they had political discussions, and he was the first one to say that FDR was, he was creeping socialist.
I liked when the
he
Jefferson's son would come over.
Oh yeah,
Right? And he would always make Archie think that he understood what he was saying. Right? You understand me, don't you? Right? Okay, my favorite one. I'm going to end with this today. My favorite one, okay? Edith is at the laundromat, and they wanted to pick Edith. Now listen to this. They wanted to pick Edith to do a commercial because she had that housewife, honest look all about her. So they pick her out. They're going to do a commercial with her for soap suds, for detergent. So Archie and them, they go down, they cut this deal to do a commercial. So Edith gets one that's done with Sunny soap or whatever, the one she's supposed to, and the other one. And she comes out and she starts to do it. And I can't. This one's actually nicer, the competitor. So they never could get Edith. Wait a minute. They never could get Edith to say that the one she was supposed to be promoting was the brightest and the cleanest. Couldn't do it, right? So Archie calls her over and says, well, dingbat or whatever. What are you doing, right? And she says, Archie, I can't say it's cleaner because it's not. I can't lie. Edith, you have to lie. I can't, Archie. Edith, on TV, you have to lie. There has to be a lie has to balance the truth. That's how TV works. She says, what, Archie? Yes. You have to tell as many lies on TV as you do the truth. And then he goes and gives her an example. He says, why do you think they even televised the Democrat convention?